My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the car.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
We have got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech. Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Politics is no longer a debate. It's war. And when Bill Maher stepped up to challenge Whoopi Goldberg, it wasn't just a disagreement. It was a full-on takedown. With his razor-sharp wit and brutal honesty, Maher didn't just counter Whoopi's claims, he demolished them. One by one, her arguments crumbled under the weight of cold, hard logic. This wasn't some petty celebrity spat. It was a masterclass in destroying false narratives with nothing but facts and reason. Whoopi thought she had the upper hand. Big mistake. Maher came armed, and by the time he was done, the debate wasn't just over. It was a massacre. The truth hurts, and Whoopi felt every bit of it. Watch this debate, and you'll never see her the same way again.
Just understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking to a white person.
Maher, known for taking shots at both sides, went head-to-head with Whoopi, and it was brutal. Armed with facts, he exposed glaring inconsistencies, leaving Whoopi scrambling behind her usual progressive buzzwords. This showdown wasn't just entertainment, it was a wake-up call, exposing the massive divide between elite liberal narratives and the struggles of everyday Americans.
You have this new book out, and I watch your show all the time, so I know that you're a comic, but you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them, and a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
Equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was.
Whoopi, a die-hard liberal, dismisses criticism as right-wing spin. Maher, a classic liberal who refuses to play by party rules. Their ideological divide set the stage for an explosive showdown.
I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going, oh, I lost.
Whoopi brushed off concerns about crime and the economy, but Maher wasn't having it. He fired back, reminding her that real people suffer from inflation and safety issues, not just political symbolism. Caught off guard, Whoopi dodged the facts, clinging to outdated talking points. But Maher wasn't letting her off easy.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility.
Maher wasn't about to let Whoopi's weak argument slide. He called out the blatant disconnect between progressive elites and the real concerns of Black and Hispanic voters, who care more about crime and the economy than social media debates. Polls back him up, but Whoopi refused to face reality, and that only made her argument look even weaker.
My bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's. Yeah. Okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
The real turning point? When Maher hit political hypocrisy head-on. He called out how Democrats scream for accountability. until it's one of their own, like Hunter Biden. Whoopi squirmed, trying to downplay the scandal, but Maher wasn't letting her off the hook. She had no good defense, just excuses.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You know, you look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like, when I came back after the strike in September, I said,
Maher dropped a bombshell. Biden said no one is above the law, then pardoned his own son. This is exactly why Americans are fed up with the system. Rules mean nothing if they're only enforced when convenient. Whoopi had no comeback. Maher's logic was unstoppable.
I think a conservative once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. I mean, gender may not be binary, but politics is. You only get two choices. And the stuff that they are afraid of, they see Donald Trump as a bulwark against.
As tensions soared, Maher went for the jugular, exposing how mainstream media buried the Hunter Biden story to control the narrative. Whoopi? She refused to face the facts, brushing it off as just another right-wing conspiracy. But the receipts don't lie.
Buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after.
Maher came prepared, citing left-leaning journalists who admitted the Hunter Biden story was buried for political gain. He warned that woke ideology cares more about controlling the narrative than seeking truth. Whoopi, instead of fighting back with facts, she dodged yet again. Because deep down, she knew Maher was right.
Obama had her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be a pretty right-wing organization. Said Biden shouldn't do that, but ego. He's Dracula. He has crossed oceans of time to be here, and he's not going to give it up now.
Maher torched progressives for creating a culture where any criticism is labeled hate. He called out how working-class Americans, who the left pretends to champion, aren't buying the radical media narratives. Whoopi? She dismissed their struggles as right-wing exaggeration. But Maher wasn't done. He exposed how the Democratic Party's sharp left turn is driving away Black and Hispanic voters, who, according to polls, are more patriotic, pro-law enforcement, and against unchecked illegal immigration than white progressives. Instead of addressing real issues, Democrats keep pandering to elite activists, and voters are done with it.
And that stuff is a lot closer to the home. It's like my kid is coming home from school, and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent, stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. This book.
Whoopi struggled when faced with Maher's fact-based takedown. Instead of addressing his points, she relied on emotional pleas, vague talking points, and flat-out dodging. Then came the knockout moment. Maher asked her directly, "What do Black and Hispanic Americans really care about?" Rather than admitting they prioritize economic stability and public safety over woke activism, Whoopi desperately tried to change the subject. This is the core flaw of woke politics. When faced with hard truths, they run instead of debating.
You used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything, and I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized, and so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
When Maher shut down her weak arguments with cold, hard facts, Whoopi did what so many do, played the victim. She accused him of twisting her words, but the truth? Maher didn't twist a thing. He held up a mirror, and she didn't like the reflection. With no real comeback, she was left grasping at straws.
Look, I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country, and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
Maher's takedown hit different because he's a lifelong liberal. He's not pushing a right-wing agenda, he's calling out progressive hypocrisy from the inside. His refusal to follow ideological purity has made him an outsider to some, but a hero to those who value critical thinking and real talk.
The answer to the Donald Trump situation is what's going to get him elected is this woke stuff that a lot of people in this country just don't go for.
Well, one thing that I break with is that you can disagree on candidates, but when one talks about literally upending the entire democracy, that's my heart out. Like, there's not an equal comparison.
Maher didn't even need to shout. He calmly dismantled Whoopi's arguments piece by piece, leaving her no escape. Her weak dodges only made things worse, exposing the deeper issue. Americans are waking up to the woke movement's failures and double standards, and Whoopi just became the perfect example.
Not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want, because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left had...
This wasn't just a debate. It was a battle for the soul of liberalism. Maher represents old-school liberals who value free speech, reason, and real issues. Meanwhile, the woke movement obsesses over ideological purity, cancel culture, and activism over solutions. His takedown revealed why so many traditional liberals feel betrayed by their own party. While everyday Americans worry about inflation, crime, and education, woke elites push debates over pronouns and microaggressions. Maher's fearless call-out shows why he's one of the last mainstream voices willing to challenge progressive insanity head-on.
About that, I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the...
Maher's clash with Whoopi wasn't just a debate, it was a statement. In a media landscape dominated by partisan loyalty, he dares to challenge both sides. While woke leftists rage at his independence, conservatives and moderates respect his fearless honesty. In a world of ideological echo chambers, Maher is one of the last voices keeping it real.
I mean, women have no... I mean, this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place.
This showdown wasn't just about Whoopi. It exposed a massive shift in political media. Americans are ditching celebrity-run echo chambers like The View and turning to independent voices like Maher and Rogan for real conversations. If mainstream media refuses to adapt, they'll become irrelevant relics in a world that's done with scripted outrage. Maher's takedown of Whoopi could be just the beginning, because once people wake up, there's no going back. That's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed the ride, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Your support means everything to us, and trust me, the best is yet to come. See you soon.